Okay, moving the show right along. So, NABWIC Talks. This morning, we are going to be listening in to comments from U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, as Ms. Ann mentioned, and Ms. Ebony Pittman, Deputy Secretary, North Carolina Department of Transportation. In these different segments, please listen in to NABWIC's billion-dollar luncheon and transportation opportunities, because NABWIC Talks, this is the platform for billion-dollar conversations.
Thank you so very much. It has been a phenomenal wide opportunity for this organization, and many of you may not know that we have had a relationship with USDOT secretaries for the last 5 sitting secretaries. And this has been a great opportunity for our members to connect at all different levels. But today, Secretary Pete Buttigieg, U.S. Secretary of Transportation, has graced us with a few words. He took office in January 2021 as the 19th U.S. Secretary of Transportation. Prior to joining the Biden-Harris administration, Secretary Buttigieg served 2 terms as mayor of his hometown of South Bend, Indiana. A graduate of Harvard University and a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford. Buttigieg served for 7 years as an officer in the U.S. Navy Reserve, taking a leave of absence from the mayor's office for a diplomatic assignment in Afghanistan in 2014. I want to welcome the Secretary comments, and I want to indulge all of you to just take one moment and also join me as we listen to these greetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann, for that introduction, and I want to thank the National Association of Black Women in Construction for inviting me to speak with you today. For 30 years, this organization has been a powerful force and tireless advocate for Black women in construction. And as we in the Biden-Harris administration continue working to build a better America, it's important to acknowledge that your members are the ones who have done and will continue to do so much of the actual, literal building. Transportation has always also been a battleground for civil rights, and Black women have always been at the vanguard, from Claudette Colvin and Rosa Parks to leaders tackling the challenges of this moment. There's still a lot of work to be done. Our trains and buses are no longer segregated by law, as they were at the time of the Montgomery bus boycott, but we still live with the implications and consequences of projects that overlooked, or worse, intentionally divided or destroyed Black and brown communities. At the Department of Transportation, we are committed to addressing these historic harms and making sure that transportation actually and always connects rather than divides. And now we have the chance to make generational investments in transportation, jobs, and equity thanks to the President's bipartisan infrastructure law. This law marks the largest investment in good-paying American jobs in my lifetime. We're talking about jobs laying new train tracks, making our roads and bridges more resilient, expanding transit systems, building new electric vehicle chargers, and more jobs for your members and your future members. Let's be honest, for this bill to meet its potential, we must make sure that the opportunities reach the communities that need them the most. And this means engaging women and minority-owned small businesses to help bring these new projects to life. That's why we have been working hard at the President's direction to ensure that such businesses get a fair share of contracts supported by DOT funding. And I believe that we have a responsibility not only to better utilize the MBE and DBE and WBE business community that is out there, but to proactively use this opportunity to encourage capacity building and to foster growth in that community. Our Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization is working to make this happen. We have resources such as our bond education and access to capital programs, our Master Capacity Building Series, and our Small Business Transportation Resource Centers. So please encourage your members to reach out so that we can make sure that they have the technical assistance and the guidance that they need. Meanwhile, our Departmental Office of Civil Rights is working on a notice of proposed rulemaking to modernize and strengthen our DBE programs even further. We're planning to publish that proposal in the spring, and we're looking forward to hearing your feedback once we do. We've restarted our local hire program, and we're being explicit about the role of equity and climate justice in the criteria associated with many of our largest grant programs to help ensure that the infrastructure law and the funding it has opened up create jobs equitably. That includes our popular RAISE program, which is larger than ever now thanks to this infrastructure law, and now includes a specific focus on workforce development. And we're working with the Department of Labor to create a better pipeline for women and people of color to find jobs in construction. Apprenticeship programs can be tremendous ladders of opportunity, but only if people have access to them, and if these industries are welcoming to women and people of color in the first place. You can keep an eye out for more information on this later this month. Done right, we know that transportation policy can be a powerful tool to lift people up, to create jobs in Black communities, to build generational wealth for the future. Last year, I visited construction sites at the Atlanta International Airport, which is such an important historical example, because the construction of Atlanta's airport helped create a thriving Black middle class in that community when leaders made sure that communities of color had a seat at the table when it came time to award those contracts that built the airport. This infrastructure law is our generation's chance to create these kinds of opportunities at a national level. And with your partnership and your leadership, I believe that we can make sure these opportunities truly reach everyone. So thank you for the work that you are doing and all the work that you will do, building our future in the months and years ahead. Thank you again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this gathering.
So we are so honored to have those words. So with a virtual hand clap, if you're not able to take your hands and clap them together, snap a finger or two, we want to just thank him for making it very clear that it is time for Black women to be a part of this process. It's time for women to be a part of this process. And the result of fluid communities, as we've seen with the explanation of Atlanta, when we're brought to the table, small businesses get to play a role in building solid communities and solid income for their families.